And there was some trouble first in streaming and then also in audio. So my apologies to you. Audio was mute. So please forgive me. Inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, in the next sessions, we hope that this problem does not occur. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I've started these in order to answer your questions with regard to ahkam, the questions of halal and haram, the questions that pertain to the actions of a Muslim. Obviously, it does not mean I will not deliver lectures that will relate to aqaid and beliefs. It doesn't mean I will not answer your questions with respect to matters of belief and tenets of beliefs. However, this lecture by haram per ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam, according to riwayat and ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Especially since I've declared my position time and again that taqlid is not a legitimate way to gain access to the rulings of Islam, because the word of a mujtahid is not hujjah. It has validity on its own merit for mukallaf or for anybody else. Only the words of a ma'soom, an infallible imam, is hujjah. Only the words of an imam has the force of the law, not the word of a mujtahid or any alim or any scholar. Only the ma'soomin alayhim as-salatu was. Their words have the power and the force of law in Islam. If with such a position, it's obviously very important to explain the rulings of Islam per ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Now, it is very difficult in the English-speaking world to act according to ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. I understand that, and that answer questions per hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Shia scholars do not even know the fatwa of mujtahideen. If they know the fatwa of the mujtahideen, then it's very rare. It's very rare that they would also know the hadith. Therefore, this is a very difficult thing, I understand, for the English-speaking world. But ما لا يدرك كله لا يترك كله. I will do whatever I can, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, to deliver to you the ahkam of Ahl in the light of ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. If you have a question, because I do not read the comments on YouTube or Facebook, if you have a question here, you may send it to one of the admins and a Telegram group that we have for the ahkam, and they will post it there, and I will inshallah answer them when the turn comes for that particular question. The first question that I'll answer is about hijab, the veil of women. Women covering themselves. What are the requirements of the veil of hijab for women? And this is a very important question, because are they allowed to expose adornments on their faces? Are they allowed to expose adornment on their clothing? And how about in sessions with other women, where other women do they have to cover themselves? Are they allowed to wear tight dress when there are other women? And what about the other mahram people who may be present? Which parts of the body does a woman have to cover from other mahram individuals, and which parts does he have to? She's allowed to disclose, to display to the mahram individuals in the family. So inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, I will answer these questions in this session, and more questions in the coming sessions, inshallah, per ahadith, in the light of ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. So this is the Quran, is Quran with English translation, published by Saudi Arabia. Inshallah tabarak. From Surah An-Nur, and then inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, we will go and I will recite some ahadith to you that will answer the questions that I just posed. Let me go to Surah An-Nur, verse number 41, if I could remember correctly. Yeah. وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ. And tell the believers, وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ, and to protect their private parts. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. This is a very important part, a very important command of Islam with respect to hijab. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ, and do not disclose their adornments, إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا, except that adornment or those adornments which are apparent. Let me see how the Wahhabis have translated this, and not to show off their adornment except only that which is apparent. Okay, not bad. وَلِيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُورِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ, and to cover their veils, to bring their veils, to pull their veils, عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ. Juyub is that area of the body which the collar covers. The collar of a dress, of a shirt, covers your portion of the body, the lower than the neck, and above the chest area. So that area is the jayb. So when you put a veil, you bring the end of the veil over from above the head, over the shoulder, and bring it and draw it over the chest area. So this وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُورِهِنَّ عَلَى disclose their adornments, except for their husbands and the rest of the people who have been mentioned in this verse. And inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, I'll come back to that portion of the verse But first, let me talk about the first portion. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا, which is a very important part of this verse. And that explains to you, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, which sort of adornments a woman is allowed to display and disclose, and she's not required to cover. This is the book of Tafsir al-Burhan by Sayyid Hashim al-Bahrani rahimahullah ta'ala. And this tafsir in tafsir of Surah al-Nur, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل للمؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم ويحفظوا فروجهم وقل للمؤمنات يغضضن من أبصارهن ويحفظن فروجهن ولا يبدين منها وليضربن بخمرهن على جيوبهن. For hadith number 3, Fudayl ibn Yasar says, I asked al-Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam عن الذراعين من المرأة, to the elbow, from the wrist to the elbow, wrist area to the elbow. Forearms from between the wrist and the elbow. All these, that section of the body, is that included in the adornment wala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنْ, that they should not expose the adornment except for their husbands? قال نعم. Imam alayhi salatu wassalam said yes. وَمَا دُونَ الْخِمَارِ مِنَ الزِّينَةِ, the area under the khimar, under the veil, the area, the khimar, the veil that covers the head, and the juyub, and the area mentioned to you under the neck, under the throat, to the chest. Everything under that is from the zina, from the adornment that has to be covered. وَمَا دُونَ السِّوَارَيْنِ, except the brace, the brace that women wear on their wrists, that is also excluded, that could be displayed. So, an area except the siwarain and khimar and the headscarf, that is included in the prohibition. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا لِبُعُولَتِهِنْ, they should not expose their adornments except for their husbands or their fathers, in the rest of the verse. And there are other exceptions that will come inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and it will become very abundantly clear to you. I asked al-Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, قال قلت ما يحل للرجل أن يرى من المرأة إذا لم يكن محرما, which area of the body of a woman is permissible for a man to see if she is not mahram to him? قال الوجه, he said the face. So we found the feet and the hands. The feet and the hands, they are an al-mahram may see these areas. Hadith number 5 in this section, Zurara says that Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam said about إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. Remember the section of the verse that Allah said, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ عفوا وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. Women may not display, may not show off their adornments, zina, adornments like makeup or jewelry or clothing, anything that's an adornment. They may not display their adornments except that adornment which is apparent, which is visible, which is zahir, which is apparent. Okay. Now, إلا ما ظهر منها قال الزينة الظاهرة الكحل والخاتم. الزينة الظاهرة, that zina, that adornment which has been permitted to be displayed and is not required to be hidden and covered. Kuhul, kuhl is also translated as kuhl in English. It is the stone that they very finely and then women put in their eyes. So it's a black powder for the eyes. Wal khatam, and the ring. So whatever is on the hand, the ring. Hadith number 6. Abu Basir says, I asked Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. And they may not display and show off their adornments except that adornment which is apparent. قال الختم. He said the rings on the hands. وَالْمَسَكَةِ وَهِيَ الْقُلْبِ. And the masaka, which is a qulb, which is the bracelet on the hand. Again, this hadith number 8 also pertains to that section. From Al-Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. They may not display and show off their adornment except that adornment which is apparent. So what are they? قَالَ هِيَ الثِّيَابِ, clothing. So if the clothing of a woman has adornment on it, it is colorful, or it's a special design which is colorful, she does not have to hide it. وَالْكُحُلْ. Al-kuhul is the black powder that she puts on her eyes. And at that time it was the kuhul. Now women have many other things that they put on their faces. Are they included? Obviously, the hadith does not mention them. However, the hadith mentions those things that were apparent at that time. So these things for sure that are mentioned in the hadith, they are for sure excluded and permissible to be displayed. Now, lipstick, at that time there was no lipstick, or the powder that women put on their face, on their cheeks. Is that permissible? So if we have no reason to say that these things that are mentioned in the hadith, they are all inclusive. These are what was common at that time, that women did put on their face, such as and on their body. Kuhul, khatam, the ring. But now if a woman wants to put lipstick and come outside, and does she have to hide lipstick or not? Then it's a question that I would say I don't know. The hadith does not mention that it is permissible, but the verse of the Noble Quran says that zina, that adornment which is apparent, that is forgiven for a woman. She may expose it, she may display it. So that general principle more likely would include those things. And these things that are mentioned here, they are examples, and they are not all inclusive. And it doesn't mean if something else as a zina that has been excluded, and also doesn't mean that it's included, except if we go by the verse illa ma dhahara minha. All the adornments that are apparent, they all have been excluded. If we say that, then of course, obviously it's a matter of ihtiyat and precaution for women to just suffice on these things that have been mentioned in this hadith. وخضاب الكف and the khidab, hina of the hands, that's excluded. والسوار, bracelets. والزينة ثلاثة. Zina, adornments, are of three kinds. زينة للناس, زينة للمحرم, وزينة للزوج. One zina, adornment, are of three kinds. Adornment that's permissible to be displayed to people, زينة للناس. وزينة للمحرم, an adornment that So for people, you can show off to mahram. وزينة للزوج, and an adornment for the husband. فأما زينة الناس فقد ذكرناه. Zina for the people, we just mentioned it. So what are they? That other people who are not mahram, they may see clothing. If a woman wears good clothing that has designs and it has adornments on it, that's not wajib to cover. والكحل, the eyes, the adornments of the eyes. Khatam, the ring. Khidab al-kaf, the henna of the hands, and bracelets. وزينة للمحرم وأما زينة للمحرم فموضع القلادة فما فوقه والدملوج. Mahram, like father, brother, nephews, and other women, what they see? They can see موضع القلادة, or a necklace, the area where the woman put the necklace, and above that. So necklace comes all the way, it may come all the way over the chest. So that area is, a woman is not required to cover from her father or from her brother or from her father-in-law or other women. والدملج وما دونه. Dumluj is what women, the bracelet they used to wear on their arms. So if a woman shows off her arm, she does وما دونه, and anything lower than the dumluj, anything lower. It was a kind of a jewelry that they used to wear on their arms. So arm and lower than the arm. والخلخال وما أسفل منه. Khalkhal was a jewelry that is still in some countries, like India, women wear on their ankles. On their ankles. والخلخال, khalkhal, and lower than khalkhal. The jewelry that's worn on the ankles and lower than that. That is mahram people may see that. وأما زينة الزوج فالجسد كله. And the adornment that the husband may see, that's all of the body. Now let's go to the verse. Verse number 31 of Surah An-Nur, Surah number 24. Okay. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا لِبُعُولَتِهِنَّ. And they may not, women may not expose their zina, their adornments, except for their husbands. أو آبائهن, or their fathers. أو آباء بُعُولَتِهِنَّ, or the fathers of their husbands. So a father of the husband, a grandfather of the husband, all those people, and great grandfather of the husband, she does not have to cover anything from them. أو أبنائهن, her sons. أو أبناء بُعُولَتِهِنَّ, or the sons of the husbands. If a woman's husband has a son from another wife, the stepmother does not have to cover herself from that stepson. أو إخوانهن, or her brothers. أو بني إخوانهن, or the sons of the brothers. Nephews from the brother. أو بني أخواتهن, or the sons of her sisters. Nephews from the sister's side. أو نسائهن, or her women. So other women, she does not have to cover herself or cover her adornments from other women. Okay. أو ما ملكت أيمانهن أو التابعين غير أولي الإربة من الرجال. ملكت أيمانهن, slaves. If a woman has a slave lady, she does not have to cover herself from that maid who is a slave woman. Or if she has a male slave, she does not have to cover her hair from a male slave. And the riwayat are here with regard to slaves. Since we don't have any more slaves, then it's not relevant to us anymore. أو التابعين غير أولي الإربة من الرجال. Tabi'in is a person who comes to your door. So a beggar comes to your door, or a person for some other business comes to the door of a house where a woman lives. غير أولي الإربة من الرجال. Irba is the lust. It also means the sexual organ of the man, Also, the sexual feeling. A man who does not have any sexual feeling, doesn't have any sexual desire with regard to women, such a man, women do not have to cover themselves from them. Zurara says, سألت أبا جعفر عليه السلام من قول الله عز وجل أو التابعين غير أولي الإربة من الرجال إلى آخر الآية قال الأحمق الذي لا يأتي النساء. So Imam عليه الصلاة والسلام said, a crazy person who does not appreciate women, who doesn't have a person who has gone mad, who is crazy, whose mental condition is not right, and he doesn't have any desire for women. Such a person, if a person is like that, who doesn't have any desire for women, she does not have to cover herself from such a person. ولا يضربن بأرجلهن ليعلم ما يخفين من زينتهن. Ali ibn Ibrahim has narrated. I mentioned to you that women wear, in some countries, some places, they wear jewelry on their ankles. So this portion of the verse says, وَلَا يَضْرِبْنَ بِأَرْجُلِهِنَّ لِيُعْلَمَ مَا يُخْفِينَ مِنْ زِينَتِهِنَّ. They may not hit their steps hard in order to make it known that they are wearing jewelry on their feet. ولا تضرب إحدى رجليها بالأخرى لتقرع الخلخال بالخلخال. This portion of the verse means that she may not hit one foot to the other in order to the foot brace may strike one against the other, and it makes noise, and the bells jingle, and people know that she is wearing the the jewelry. Okay, now this verse makes it very clear in the hadith that have been narrated with respect to this verse of the Noble Quran. What are the limits of obligatory hijab? The limits are, and what she may display in this regard. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I'll answer one more question, and then inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala we'll have another session another time, inshallah. Drawing. Somebody has asked me about drawing pictures of animals or any moving thing, animals like human being or animals. Is that permissible in Islam? Of course, that has been prohibited in Islam, and the wisdom of this matter we do not know. Why? Ahadith do not mention that. So several ahadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam mention that it's not permissible to draw plants are okay, but animals, including human beings, it's not permissible. Let me read. This is Kitab al-Wasa'il al-Shi'a, Wasa'il al-Shi'a, Juz al-Sabi Ashar, volume number 17, page number 295. There are a number of ahadith here, a number of narrations and related to drawing pictures of human beings. And this is not only Shia have narrated these hadith, the Umaris also have narrated similar hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasallam says here, ثلاثة يعذبون يوم القيامة من صور صورة من الحيوان يعذب حتى ينفخ فيها وليس بنافخ فيها. A person who draws the picture of an animal, he is punished in the day of judgment. Therefore, one may not draw the picture of an animal. However, that's drawing. Now you take a picture with a camera, that's not drawing. The hukm of Sharia is with regard to the matter that has been mentioned in Hadith. Hadith prohibits drawing. Now, taking picture, the Hadith doesn't talk about taking picture. Taking picture is very different from, it's a different action, different work, different activity compared to drawing. So now, taking a picture has not been mentioned as haram. There was no cameras at the time. So what's haram is drawing. And now somebody would say, what's the wisdom of that? I don't know the wisdom of that. Some matters, some rulings in Islam, their wisdom, their benefit has been explained, that if you do such a thing, then there's this worldly benefit in doing it. And if you refrain from a haram, that's the benefit. And some actions have not been explained. And we have to be submissive to Allah and the religion and do. And inshallah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, when the 12th Imam alayhi salatu wasalam comes, he will explain to us what are the wisdom. And many of these ahkam, the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam would abrogate when cancel them, because Islam is a religion that its rulings came at that time, 1,400 years ago. And many of its rulings were appropriate for that time. I'm not saying they're not appropriate anymore for this time, but at that time, their wisdom was clear to those people living there. But now, their wisdom they were explained and were not conveyed to us, or they are not evident for us. It was evident for them, for the people who lived at that time. And some of these ahkam may as well, when the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam comes at that time, may not be appropriate for that time. And that's why in Islam we have to have an Imam in every age. So we have many ahadith when the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam appears. He is going to change Islam altogether. In Islam, he would present Islam as a fresh religion, as a new religion, as a new Sharia. So many of these ahkam of Islam he will abrogate. Maybe he will keep this hukum with regard to prohibition of drawing. Maybe he will not, but we do not know that. And until he comes, these rulings of Islam, we have to follow them, and that is the religion. And when the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam comes and he explains, and he will keep some of the rulings and removes the other, then inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala we will know what will his position will be with regard to these ahkam. Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi at-tahin. I thank you very much, and I apologize to you for the inconvenience with regard to problems we had with streaming and audio. And inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala in the future, I hope to be able to present to you more ahadith with respect to halal and haram from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Please forgive me. May Allah bless you all. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
فقير علي ما يراد شر ما يرقت وقاشت خجل قمرات فيه شيء تصرف كند بزير جوني عالم بفدايت علي جوني عالم بفدايت علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا